We open on Crichton having discovered a machine that basically does plastic surgery on your personality.
So it can perform corrective surgery on your character.
Exactly.
Only on Red Dwarf.
Hypothetically, do you think I could do with a little work?
Take a seat, sir. I'll cancel this week's schedule about the areas I think we might be able to improve.
Now,
Crichton was hoping he'd say that.
this isn't gonna hurt, is it?
Perhaps I should give you a hollow sedative, sir.
With a needle?
I'll talk you through every aspect of the procedure. Right now, I'm just in that... Well, where's he gone?
Well, it looks like Starbug has had an upgrade. They no longer need to change the bulb to go to red alert. So yeah, Lister fell asleep and now they're way off course.
You can't blame me for this. What kind of lunch was that to give your pilot? Roast beef with all the trimmings, followed by second?
Ah, he had a case of the itis, as Boondocks called it anyway.
What chance did I stand after a Sunday lunch like that? How long have I been out?
It's Monday, sir.
Anyway, it turns out they're in Gelf country. There must be a lot of Gelf tribes out there because it seems like the Dwarfers are always running into them.
The particular tribe of Gelf are the Oh, sorry. I just sat down on a screwdriver.
Another gag involving Gelf language after just one episode? I'm not complaining.
The particular tribe are the Naki Ninkas, vampire Gelfs to you and me.
The story goes they feast on the blood of virgins.
That sounds like some kind of urban myth to me.
According to the ancient myths, they can smell them.
Smell them? What the hell does a virgin smell of?
Desperation, normally.
But yeah, that makes Kat kind of nervous.
Can we discuss this for one stupid lousy second?
After a minute of back and forth, Lister catches on.
Never really don't even say it.
Okay, moving on. Didn't mean to open up a can of worms here.
Title drop.
I got a lady cat back on Red Dwarf. Hell, I got two.
So yeah, sorry anyone who believed that Identity Within happened off screen. I personally thought there was enough evidence against that already, but now it's officially non-canon. So anyway, they go the long way around to get back to Red Dwarf to make sure they avoid the Gelfs. On the way, they encounter a transport ship with two life forms on it. One a mercenoid.
A mercenoid is a droid, sir, who has agreed to sacrifice his life in exchange for software updates in Silicon Heaven.
That probably explains why the mercenoid and his prisoner are on a death dive into the heart of a supermassive black hole.
And the other its prisoner, which is of undetermined species. Lister thinks that the prisoner could be human, so he suggests that they check it out.
Let's do this.
Good luck. Keep in touch.
It's very suspicious once they do. Rimmer can find no traces of the ship's logs, and even the black box has been erased.
Not getting any pictures from your head cam.
There must be some kind of signal block in place.
Heh, Lister forgot to take the lens cap off.
I'm picking up something in the movement tracker. Life signs, organic and part organic, in corridor beta 12.
That's where we are.
Then you should be able to see them.
They're there, right on top of you!
Yeah, this bit is right out of Alien.
Wait.
Could these life signs by any chance be us?
Nice subversion, though.
Yes.
They go a little more in and are confronted by the mercenoid.
I know you are here, humans.
Want to talk about your prisoner? Want to do a trade?
This guy's got nothing on Asclepius, but he's still pretty scary looking.
Take my advice and go.
Who's your prisoner and what have they done?
That is my business.
Slight spoiler, if the mercenoid had just said what the prisoner was, they would have been more than happy to get the hell out of there.
You can trust us, you really can.
You will achieve all your dreams. Size doesn't matter.
Anyway, at least we got a Rimmer fist bite, those never get old.
And women think you're extremely attractive.
Actually, that's not really true.
So the mercenoid gets put out of commission and Rimmer manages to find where the prisoner is being held and he directs them there.
Birds, am I pleased to see you?
And apparently it's a female cat.
You got a name?
Sure I do, stupid. Who doesn't have a name?
Obviously some of this is gonna have to wait until the next cat videos.
Why don't we meet up later on the pretext of having dinner, but instead play the string game?
I love the string game!
If you'd like to follow me, Mom, I'll show you to your quarters.
Crichton's like, oh shit, now we have two of them. Later, Crichton goes through a black box that was on the mercenoid and...
That cat we brought on Red Dwarf is not a Felis sapien. It's a polymorph, sir.
Yeah, so much for this being a cat episode. We get a third polymorph episode instead.
That's why the mercenoid was flying into that black hole. It was the only way he could ensure the polymorph's death.
And we killed the mercenaid, saved the polymorph, and brought it on board ship.
Yeah, bang up job there, guys. Also, it's about to get a lot worse, because, the polymorph is carrying eggs.
Eggs they hatch.
No, Kinder eggs.
Maybe it's trying to smuggle Kinder eggs into America. Anyway, Crichton found a documentary about polymorph mating rituals.
Evening falls, and the impregnated female polymorph seduces a passing organism.
By the way, that voice is the same guy who was the voice of the universe, only now he's doing David Attenborough instead of Morgan Freeman.
And secretly deposits her eggs in the unlucky host's body.
Naturally, they go to warn Kat, but it's too late.
She had some moves you've never even seen. Her big pipe thing shoots out of her back, then whooshes straight down your throat. Whoa!
Oh, I am eventually going to have some things to say about this one.
She just released her gushy tadpole stuff down her pipe.
Like, I know Kat's supposed to be dumb, but can't we put a cap on it at the point just above too dumb to live? Like, if he was any dumber, he'd forget to breathe. We're supposed to believe that Kat doesn't know how sex works. Okay, fine, he's a virgin, but he has jacked it before.
Another year when I have to send a Valentine card to my hand.
And has likely watched porn at some point. He would have to know that it's supposed to involve his dick somehow and not a pipe.
How do I break this to you?
You're a moron! Let me handle this. Catman, you're a moron!
I know I give this show a lot of leeway for rule of funny, but I've got to draw the line somewhere.
You just had sex with a genetically engineered insectoid arachnid.
It still counts.
Oh, Kat, you sweet summer child.
I'm counting it. Let me tell you, she looked a hell of a lot better last night.
Well, there's Kat's quarters all of a sudden, and a dead polymorph.
It's died, as the female polymorph often does, after the exhaustive process of depositing her morphlings into a host body.
Yeah, this episode is about to go to a really bad place. They do an ultrasound on Kat and...
To make sure that everything is... Oh my god!
Yep, he's preggers with a bunch of polymorphs.
When they hatch, they will literally burst out of you using the nearest orifice available.
You mean rather than forming an orderly queue?
So they attempt a cesarean. I just noticed that they're all wearing caps. This is actually the second time Crichton has worn one, despite not having any hair. And Lister doesn't even have his dreads tucked into his.
Hang on, look at the scanner.
Okay, my issues with this episode aside, I do get a kick out of how ridiculously clever the polymorphs are. They become tumors as a way to fight back. Actually, I'm not sure if that makes sense, because couldn't Crichton still remove the tumors? Either way.
We have to let them be born in the normal way.
Cue this really uncomfortable, for me anyway, scene where the polymorphs morph into big and spiky objects before coming out of Kat. Afterwards...
Flushing this lot into deep space, they're so cute.
Again, I kind of get a kick out of this. They turn into cute things so Lister won't want to flush them out of the airlock. I think the little hedgehog is my favorite.
I mean, most things look adorable when they're first born. Even velociraptors. Even the Rolling Stones.
Anyway, surprisingly, Kat volunteers to do it.
I just want to have a minute to say goodbye.
Huh, that seems a little out of character.
He's gone! Why didn't I anticipate this? He's been affected by the oxytocin hormone released by the morphlings.
So yeah, that was due to a hormone that was injected into him while he was pregnant. So they have a plan that involves turning off the heat in all of the areas of the ship except one to encourage Kat to go there so they can find him more easily. But the polymorphs can sense their emotions, so they'll be able to sense them coming. So this is where that personality tuck machine from the very beginning comes in again.
And what will happen to my emotions?
We'll just download your brain. Crichton, have a 5 megabyte memory stick on standby.
Hey, Lister's gotten smarter. It used to fit on a mini cassette. So they remove Lister's emotions and go down there. And it turns out that the polymorphs are fully matured already.
There are 9 life forms. He's still alive, but barely, living in an emotionless semi-state, his mind almost totally blank.
No change there, then.
Each polymorph we eliminate, sir, part of the cat's personality will return.
Come to think of it, that's pretty much how it worked the first time.
Bugs, I need a hand here. I'm busted up really bad.
How did you know that wasn't the cat? I didn't.
Yeah, it figures there would be a possible downside to Lister having no emotions. Come to think of it, you'd think they'd remember what Lister was like last time he was missing an emotion.
Well, I say let's get out there and twat it.
Help me!
Well, that's 2 down.
We've turned him into a dehumanized assassin.
So Crichton and Rimmer get separated for a bit, then...
I fear Mr. Lister may be a polymorph. We can't trust anyone.
So how can I trust you?
Heh, people in parkas not trusting each other because one might be a shapeshifter reminds me of the Thing again. Come to think of it, why does Crichton need one?
How about we go down to the science room and x-ray each other? That way we can be sure.
Yeah, that also makes me think of the Thing. Apparently there are 6 polymorphs left, so...
This is a nightmare!
Oh boy.
They had me tied up, but I got away.
Well, Cat's back.
There are 6 polymorphs here, and we don't know who's who.
I'm sure you'll work it out. Catch you later.
For a minute. Once they make it to the elevator... Well, shit.
How did you know who was who?
A mama always knows her kids.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disturbed. Later on, Lister goes to check on Cat and tries to make him feel better about being a virgin.
But if you were, which you're not, it wouldn't mean that you weren't cool. It'd just mean that you hadn't met the right girl yet.
But I'm not.
Exactly.
No way.
Hey, it's late. We keep talking, and there ain't gonna be much time for loving.
This is a dream, isn't it?
Having that be a dream is such a waste of a great twist.
Let's go. Pipe me.
So, yeah, not too crazy about this episode. It has its moments, though. I do get a kick out of how clever the polymorphs are, and some of the jokes are funny, and of course I appreciated the shoutouts to Alien and The Thing, but I just think it gets to a point where Cat is just so stupid that it feels contrived. Also, there's some bias here. I just find Mpreg in fiction kind of weird and gross somehow. I think that dad episode not getting made was for the best. And I feel like this whole torturous birth scene being played for laughs kind of mean-spirited. Not to mention how Cat is kind of traumatized by the whole thing, like it kind of twisted his ideas about how sex works and caused him to develop a weird fetish. I read a scathing article recently where the writer compared what happened to Cat to rape. I'm on the fence about how I feel about that, but he does suffer a weird kind of violation, and playing it purely for laughs, again, maybe a little too mean-spirited. I know Red Dwarf isn't supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows, and I wouldn't want it to be. I don't know, in this case, it's just kinda icky. And then there's how the writers need to be careful about having bad things happen to Cat. I'll go more into that when I get to this point in the Cat videos, but like I said in regards to him getting beat up in Season 8, he's supposed to be cool and untouchable, and this episode seems to sort of forget that. I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. I thought Season 11 was pretty solid for the most part, so I think it's kind of a shame that it ends on a low note. Apparently Twentica was originally going to be the season finale, but they switched the order around, and I think that would have been better. That episode feels bigger than the others in Season 11, and it would have ended with more of a bang. Not as much as Season 10, but it would have been a much better cap to put on Season 11 than Can of Worms. Unless you really hate Cat, maybe. Next up, I'm going to take a little break before getting to Season 12. Like with Season 11, I've only seen it once and don't remember it too well, so I'll need to refresh my memory before starting on it. In the meantime, I'm going to make a little side video where I compare a Red Dwarf episode to an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation that has a very similar plot, just for fun. See you then.
What's that huge area in the middle there?
But that is your cowardice, sir. Perhaps you'd like me to perform a cowardectomy.
What, reduce it to sort of wimpoplasty?